If found-footage horror movies defined the millennial generation, then Screenlife horror films have certainly found their audience among Zoomers. The Blair Witch Project, 1999, set the stage for modern digital horror with an innovative marketing campaign that capitalized on the growing influence of the internet, paving the way for films like Unfriended, Searching, and Host. These movies masterfully utilized screen-based storytelling to heighten suspense. However, 2025's Bloat, despite its connections to previous genre standouts, fails to deliver the same level of tension and originality. Instead, it drowns in overused tropes and lacks the scares necessary to leave a lasting impact. Directed by Tokyo-based filmmaker Pablo Absento, Bloat follows an American family vacationing in Japan. The film's narrative is framed through the perspective of Jack Ben McKenzie, a NATO U.S. Army officer stationed in Turkey, as he monitors his family's trip remotely via his work computer. His wife, Hannah Bojana Novakovic, along with their two sons, Malcolm Fuller and Sawyer Jones, embarks on a lakeside getaway without him. However, when their youngest son, Kyle Jones, nearly drowns in the lake, he begins exhibiting unsettling behaviors, including an eerie fixation on cucumbers and insects. It quickly becomes apparent that Kyle's survival may have come at a price, one tied to a sinister Japanese freshwater demon known as the Kappa. While integrating Japanese folklore into a horror narrative could have been a compelling choice, Bloat struggles to blend this mythology with the Screenlife format. Instead of an immersive experience, the film becomes a chaotic flurry of FaceTime calls, WhatsApp messages, and frantic Google searches. The story's depth is diminished by the over-reliance on a cluttered digital interface, making it difficult for viewers to engage with the eerie folklore underpinning the horror. The film also falls into the common horror trope of naive American tourists encountering supernatural forces they do not understand. While this subgenre has produced notable films like Midsommar, The Green Inferno, and Cannibal Holocaust, each benefiting from their rich, atmospheric locations, Bloat's reliance on the Screenlife format strips Japan of its haunting beauty. Despite being filmed in Tokyo and Yamanashi, the setting never becomes a character in the story, reducing its potential impact. Jack's computer screen serves as the audience's only lens into the unfolding horror, making for an occasionally realistic but ultimately overwhelming viewing experience. The constant flood of on-screen text, emails, searches, forum posts, detracts from the tension rather than enhancing it. One moment, Jack is researching childhood trauma. The next, he's deep into a supernatural parenting forum. The rapid information overload, while possibly reflective of real internet usage, becomes more exhausting than eerie. Character development also suffers under this format. Jack is the only fully realized character, played convincingly by Ben McKenzie, who brings an earnestness to his role as a concerned father. In contrast, Hannah is reduced to an inattentive, wine-drinking mother who fails to keep an eye on her children. Her obliviousness comes across not as a tragic flaw but as a symptom of weak writing. Adding to the film's contrivances, Jack enlists the help of an old military friend, Ryan Kane Kosugi, who conveniently knows a Buddhist monk with expertise in Kappa folklore. This exposition-heavy solution to the supernatural mystery feels uninspired and rushed. Bloat also fails to provide a truly terrifying depiction of its central monster. The Kappa, a staple of Japanese mythology, is traditionally depicted as an eerie, amphibious creature with a dish-like indentation on its head. However, rather than offering a unique and terrifying vision of the entity, the film relies on glitchy video distortions, supernatural screen malfunctions, and night vision scares that never fully capitalize on the potential horror of the creature. A more visceral approach, incorporating practical effects or a deeper exploration of Kyle's possession, could have elevated the terror. Instead, the film's attempt at subtle horror comes across as underwhelming, failing to leave a memorable impression. While Bloat nods to the Screenlife subgenre's past successes, it ultimately feels like a missed opportunity. The film's attempt to blend supernatural horror with a digital age aesthetic results in an overstimulating yet hollow experience. In contrast to the Blair Witch Project, which used its limitations to build psychological terror, Bloat struggles to craft an immersive or suspenseful atmosphere. The film's most unsettling moment, a nod to the infamous Unfriended blender scene, ironically stands out more than the supposed horror of the Kappa itself. In the end, Bloat sinks under the weight of its own ambition. Though it attempts to introduce Japanese mythology to international audiences, it fails to do so in a way that is engaging or terrifying. With an overcluttered digital presentation, weak character writing, and an underwhelming depiction of its supernatural antagonist, Bloat lacks the impact needed to stand out in the Screenlife horror subgenre. What could have been a chilling dive into ancient folklore instead becomes a muddled, frustrating viewing experience.